All right, we're back. And I had this thought mainly because it was relevant in our household. Like it just felt like a topic that had come to mind. When you become a parent, you are meeting this new version of your partner. And I think you learn a lot about each other and what works for you, what makes you guys tick in a new way when you welcome these like little people into the equation. And I was curious, like, what struggles you had initially, and like, what would be some of the tips that you have for women to strengthen their marriage, or things that you've done with Jason that have made you guys better partners in parenthood?
It's a really good question. And I think I'm so lucky that Jason is the person that I'm doing this with because I had a hard time postpartum both times, as we know, two C-sections, hard recoveries. Like it's just been a lot. And the mental is a lot. And I think, and I wish that all men were as grown up as Jason when they brought life into this world because he shows up. And
Hmm.
I think the greatest tip I can give, look, we're not perfect. We have arguments. We both do the competitive thing like, well, I did this. Well, I did this. No, I'm doing this. And, everyone does it. Let's just be real about that for a second. But I think I always know that like we're solid.
Hmm.
And so, like, I would really recommend talking everything out, even the hard conversations. You have to have them, whether it be about feelings, whether it be about money, whether it be about family, whether it be about like your body postpartum and like not feeling like your best. I think the number one thing I would say is just be honest because we're not mind readers and neither are they. So we have to meet each other where each other is at and we have to know how to best support each other. And look, I fail at this all the time. Jason, none of us are perfect. Neither of us are perfect. But I feel like we try. And I think having like respect for what the other person is doing. Like, I'm so grateful that Jason works his butt off and I don't always tell him how grateful I am and I need to be better about that. But I think, yeah, having respect and having just open communication about everything possible is what I would say. I'm sure there's so much more if I could give this a thought. What would you say?
Well, first of all, I like what you said, and I think it's good to put into practice like I remember when we first welcomed Dylan,
Hmm.
we made a promise to each other at the end of the day, we were going to set aside 5 minutes, and it usually would be longer, but 5 minutes where we talked about what went well, what we could have done better, how we could have showed up better for each other. And we eventually tapered off that and didn't feel like we needed it. But parenthood was so new to us that it was a scheduled time when we had put her down that it was like, okay, let's regroup, let's like debrief the day so that we could do it even better tomorrow, you
Hmm.
know? So yeah, I think, and just as your kids get older too, I feel like that's a good practice to just have like this time set aside in the day to check in with each other. And
Yeah.
also we've talked about this before, but like couples therapy, I think, I do think even when you're doing well, just like you said, communicating, sometimes it's hard to find
Yeah.
the time and make it a practice. So couples therapy is even good just to like have a designated hour here and there if you can afford it, or if it's, I know it's not always accessible, but if it is, it's just a good maintenance tool.
Totally.
I think that's smart.
Yeah. It's funny because Jason and we were on a walk with the girls the other week and he was like, I haven't been able to talk to you. Like he was so stressed out about like certain things that are going on with him and like at work. And he felt like he didn't even have the time to communicate it. And sometimes I feel during the week, especially very, like I just feel like kind of lonely. Like I'm in my own bubble and I'm here and I like don't have much of a life to be honest. And I'm trying to, I go to my little class that I really like and I try to talk to friends here and there, but it's like I feel very lonely because I'm naturally such a social person. And so we were feeling very like disconnected, but it was nice to just go on a walk and like be able to even just talk about those things so that we knew where each other was going. And he was kind of like, honestly, like during the week, it is hard for me to be like that support for you because I'm so wrapped up in like what I'm doing and like trying to be good at my job and trying to have growth with my job. And I'm here for you like on the weekends and like at night when I'm done with work. But it was nice to like hear him say that, but also like it's a good reminder for me that we all are working through shit, even when you're married,
Hmm.
right? And so the moral of that story is like even just go for a walk if you guys can. Like go for a
Yeah.
walk and like just talk it out a little bit.
Yes, especially, you're in LA. We used to be in LA. I'm in Chicago now, so walks aren't always
Yeah,
year
weather.
round. But weather permitting, there is something about the change of scenery, getting sunshine, like fresh air that really does reset.
Totally.
So I think you're right. The talking is so important. And I think the thing Andrew and I have really learned, and we've learned it the hard way just through trial and error, or should I just say error? Um, is making it a priority to really understand your personal love language, both the way you feel loved and the way you express love, but more
Yeah.
importantly, how your partner feels loved. Because, when it's just the two of you, you can kind of get by without, like stakes aren't that high, things aren't necessarily always that emotional. But when you add kids into the mix, it's like you said, everything's just at 100 all the time.
Well,
And
it's
there's
hard.
not
And when you
always,
are the one primarily with the kids,
yeah,
your brain is on overload. Like there's so much
totally.
overstimulation of, and you're just like, I feel like I run a marathon every day. Do you feel that way?
Every single day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think and women who are working and coming home and trying to be like present moms when they're home, like I think we're all just like spiraling out and like
I know.
running this rat race. It's really hard. But I think just really communicating and like expressing to your partner how you feel loved,
Hmm.
and then committing to your partner that you will do the best you can to express love the way they need is
Hmm.
so important. And I know it sounds a little cliche, but like for me, I feel loved when you verbally affirm me. So when you say, like, you see what I've done that day and you say thank you. Like it
Yeah.
for even the smallest thing. That's all it takes for me to feel like, okay, I was seen, I was appreciated, that effort was acknowledged. And it just helps me feel like my partner loves me and
Yeah.
gets me and all the things. Andrew feels loved with acts of service. So doing things around, with the kids or whatever, like that makes him feel supported, loved, all the things. And I just think when you have kids in the mix, it's really important to know yourself and to know your partner and to do your very, very best to practice that kind of love.
Totally. It's very easy to get caught up in the like we talked about like the competition game and the feeling resentment game. And
Yes. Can we
we
talk
see
about the
so many
competition
I
thing?
mean
Because
it's
we've
real
never,
and I see so many marriages fail because it feels like, the mom feels like resentful, like she's doing so much more, but the dad feels like he's doing so much more because he's, bringing in more money or he's doing X, Y, and Z around the house. And it's like people contribute in different ways, but you like resent each other because you don't understand what the other person is doing. And
exactly.
it feels like a
Andrew and
yeah,
I do this. So we've not really talked too much about the we've touched on it before here, but I don't feel like we've ever really dived in too deep on it. But like Andrew and I definitely do that. And I hate it because I catch myself when I'm doing it. But like if he's not acknowledging me, this is why I say it, because this is exactly it. If he's not acknowledging me verbally and saying like thank you for doing that, I feel like I need to say to him, today I did XYZ and blah blah blah. And it's like we're keeping this, and then it's like keeping this score sheet or whatever. But if he just says to me, I saw it and thank you and I love you, or like
right,
you're a great mom, like
right.
slate's clean, I could do more that day or I could have done less that day, whatever. It just feels like, okay, we're good. We're on the same page. We're like, it's so crazy how it's that easy.
Yeah.
But the competition thing is so real. And I would love to know how it shows up for other women.
Yeah, I remember we had, and we're gonna wrap this up soon, you guys, but I do remember we had from the Valley Nia on and she talked about how her and Danny also like do the competition game like,
Yeah.
well, I changed the diaper last, so it's your turn to change the diaper. Or I
Mhm.
did this last, so it's your turn to do this. Well, I've been out working all day and you've been home with the kids, so you have to do this. Or I've made like everybody does it. Like it's such a natural thing to do. And
Mhm.
also though it makes people feel like taken advantage of or it makes people feel resentful. So I think just like remembering that we're on the same team.
Yeah.
That's like the point I was getting at is like we're not against each other. We're not in competition with each other. Like we're literally working towards the same goal.
Yeah.
So we'll leave it at that.
You know, feels good.
But
Feels like a good way to
I
wrap
I
this
feel
up.
like I'm not going to cry anymore now that we've talked.
Me too. I mean, I may still cry because apparently I'm pregnant and
You're
I
you're
need
not.
an adult diaper, but it's cool.
We're gonna be
If we
okay.
don't laugh, we cry.
Yeah, truly. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. As we like to say, motherhood is a sisterhood. We'll be back next Wednesday. It was next Wednesday our big guest? No, in a couple weeks we have some good guests
Yeah, we
lined
have
up for
some
you.
good guests coming up, so get excited.
Yeah, tell your mom and dad.
And guys, if there's anyone that you would really love for us to have on the podcast, let us know because we are like down to talk. We want to hear from interesting women. We want to hear from the moms you want to hear from. So let us know. Influencers, leaders in industry, your next door neighbor, just let us know.
Bye.